What up? What up? What up? What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Backwards K Baseball Podcast. I am Chris Asbrock, and I'm your host tonight. As always, I'm joined by my depressed colleague, Scott Kaiser. Scott, my man, I know
Depressed
you're
is
just
one
as
word.
miserable as I am.
Depressed is a word. My God. Yay.
The
World
episode we
Series.
don't want to do. We don't want to do this.
The World Series is here, y'all. The culmination of the sport that we love so much is here. The Fall Classic. I'm so excited.
Yay.
It's the Super Payroll Yankees versus the Super Payroll Dodgers. Awesome. This is, I'm pretty sure if we didn't talk about it on the show, you and I certainly discussed it at various points, but this was Doomsday Scenario 1B, the only other worse outcome potentially being a World Series staged only in New York between the two New York teams. But yeah, from the beginning, I said one of the worst case scenarios was the World Series that the league was probably hoping for the absolute most, and that is to get the behemoth television markets of New York and LA, the superstar powers of Shohei, Aaron Judge, and all the clownish names on the Yankees, all on center stage for the World Series. They got exactly what they wanted. Here we are. And as the show title says, thanks, I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, this wouldn't be a World Series that I would hate if, honestly, if the Yankees were, if they weren't in it, I wouldn't care. Because I think it's, a situation where I think the majority of people want to see Shohei on the biggest stage. And I mean, baseball fans, at least, I would have to think that would be the case. We've talked about it with the Dodgers. Like, there's a lot of guys in the Dodgers that we like. But
yeah, I mean individually, but I'm also of the I wasn't in any hurry for Shohei to get to the World Series either.
Like this was quick.
Yeah, I want to see Shohei win a title at some point, and have that in his career. Year one wasn't really on my menu.
I mean, he's got a World Baseball Classic and then World Series.
Yeah,
man, this is
mostly because it meant that clearly Atlanta somewhere along the way stumbled, and they stumbled in a horrific manner. The only thing keeping Shohei from getting to the World Series was the Mets, so that wasn't an option. So it's like the most reluctant way ever Shohei could have forced his way in the World Series for me personally. Like, hey, what if I beat the Mets? Fucking fine. All right, man. Go on. Win your World Series, then you better go win it. You know what? You better go win it, Shohei. I want Shohei. Me and my brothers talked about this earlier. I want Shohei to get absolutely nuclear. I mean, just ape shit. Like 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, batting 500. Hell, they're like, you know what? He's going to throw, closes out the deciding game, pitches the last 3 innings, shutty. Like, I just want something just insane to happen with Shohei because let's be honest, the Yankees, if they, had it about them, probably would have signed Shohei twice, both when he first came over here and his most recent free agent adventure, but both times got snubbed in the process. And, I would feel pretty awful if Shohei was on the opposite side of this, because I think that would be pretty much, a done deal. But I do like the power of Shohei lifting up this Dodgers team. Again, I still can't believe that this Dodgers team, with its total lack of pitching, have made it this far too. I thought that was going to cost them early on. I don't even know who they're running out there. It's like Jack Flaherty and some guys. Like I don't know.
It's incredible.
I don't know how.
It's incredible.
How many bullpen games have they won? It's just unbelievable. It's whatever. It's the World Series that nobody wanted, but here we are.
Yeah. So I mean, but you were talking about Shohei going nuclear. I mean, you talk about a guy who took over a postseason series. I would like to think that he did a pretty good job of doing that against the Mets. I mean, just in looking at it, in the 5 games, it was, I mean, pretty pretty darn impressive what he was able to, to get rolling with. His postseason, let's see here, he's batted. Well, you know what? That's really cool. Well done, ESPN. They don't even like add all their stats. Jesus, I mean, this is okay. There we go. Now you had to extend it out a little bit. Batted 286 so far this postseason. He's got 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. He's walked 11 times. That's in 11 games. 42 at bats. He's got 12 hits. I mean, on base percentage of 434. It's pretty impressive. I mean, for what he's been able to, what he's been able to do, really from, in his, I guess basically his postseason debut, because he never saw anything with the, with the Angels, but goes across, just right up the highway to, to Chavez Ravine, and it's seems like a whole new player. But man, I mean, again, this is just not fun at all. Not fun at all.
Yeah, and again, thank you to the Dodgers for doing what needed to be done and taking out the Mets. I certainly was tired of hearing about Grimace and all the nonsense there in New York. They, the plucky little Mets they tried to play themselves up as, forgetting that conveniently along the way that they're paying players to not even play for their team and had a super inflated payroll that led the league. But here they were trying to convince a bunch of fans who hadn't paid attention all the way up until this point that they were the plucky Mets and they were the upstart Mets and they were the superheroes and this was the story that needed to be told, and look at Francisco Lindor and all these special things he's doing and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, well, the magic ran out, and that's so unfortunate for the Mets and their fans, but it is what it is. And now we can only hope that LA has yet another snuff in their system for another New York team, hopes and dreams, and that they can take out the Yankees. I do think that they have the advantage in this series, if for no other reason than Shohei.
I agree. Were the Mets your biggest surprise of the postseason?
No, I still think at the end of the day, the Tigers, because again, the Mets had a $350 million payroll to start the season. There should be nothing surprising about making it to the NL championship game just because they mismanaged the roster and, signed horrible contracts and ended up with a bunch of dead weight on the roster come, the end of the season. Doesn't change the fact that they still spent that money and had high players. Like the highest paid players on the Tigers were making a fraction of what the Mets role was. Yeah. So, no, I think the Tigers definitely were the surprise of the last part of the season and the playoffs, and they were the most fun to follow. Outside of my miserable following of the Braves the last couple of weeks there. I definitely enjoyed watching the Tigers, and to a slightly lesser extent, Cleveland too, because they swapped managers and kept that ball moving. Had a really good, again, another quiet season. Sucks how it ended for him because Emmanuel Clase, we're talking about it briefly before the show, he just had a complete meltdown in the playoffs. Went from allowing five or six earned runs the entire regular season to having a 10-run ERA this postseason. Just nothing went right. Yankees had his number every single time he came out. He blew leads. He blew ties. He gave up, multiple hits throughout the process. It seemed like something was, off, whether or not he was tipping pitches or what it was, or whether we'll find out in a documentary someday that the Yankees were cheating somehow. I wouldn't be shocked. But what? Oh, anyway.
Oh no, I was just laughing because that's your hatred
but yeah,
is awesome.
no, so so yeah, Emmanuel Clase. So unfortunate for Cleveland and their fans that their ride came to an end like that. I guess the same could be said about Kansas City too. They slightly unexpected for them, but they. Unexpected but exciting for their future prospects, so I know that they're not holding their heads down. But yeah, I mean, the National League was devoid of any type of
Yeah.
empathy or storyline. It was just, oh, high-powered Phillies, high-powered Mets, high-powered Dodgers. And then the Brewers and the Braves kind of limped in the back door and were just kind of there.
I think the most frustrating part of it was the fact that Cleveland, like as many times as the Yankees wanted to give it up, Cleveland would take advantage of it and then give it right back to them. And it's like, that's not how this works. Like,
yeah, the emotional
advantage.
roller coaster that
Yeah.
was being a Cleveland fan over that series. Whew. I mean, because even I had the emotional swings to be like, all right, they got this. They're going to lock this down. The next text I get would be, oh, the Yankees tied it, or oh, the Yankees took the lead. And I'm like, it was not even 10 minutes ago that Cleveland just went up. What the hell is going on in that series?
It was funny because on Friday night, we were, after our football game, bunch of the coaches, we went to a local establishment. We were, after the game, we're sitting there drinking and the game was on. And there was this Cleveland fan, this kid, he had to have been 20, I'd say probably mid-20s. And I could just, this poor dude, I mean, he was on the verge of stroking out no less than 6 or 7 times. Towards the end, I mean, it was pure cinema watching him. I mean, he's jumping up, going like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "Dude, man, like that's how this whole series has been." I mean, I would love to have seen like his medical charts at one point because it was
probably look like those win probability charts that just, but only
mean nothing really.
In EKG form, just
exactly
all over the place.
I just saw resale tickets for the Yankees Dodgers opener started at 12. Was it 12? No, 13.58 on StubHub. My God.
And I saw there is a literal 1,000% increase in price since the very first Dodgers Yankees World Series matchups. Tickets back then cost $1.48 or $1.38 or something along those lines, and they now cost $1,300.
That's amazing. That is unbelievable.
So wow. That's awesome. Also, I would never pay that much to watch a single solitary baseball game. I don't care who's playing in it. That's insane. Like yeah. For $1,300, I better get to spray champagne with my favorite team. Like for any of the games, like that ticket's good. Like come on down for the celebration. Even if I buy game one ticket for $1,300, when we win this ship, you're in the locker room spraying everybody because that's the only way I'm paying that much money. That's unheard of.
It's absurd. I mean, absolutely absurd. Well, do we want to go like? How do we want to approach this like preview?
I don't know. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I'm not gonna watch a fucking minute of this thing.
I won't either.
I don't give two shits. I've watched increasingly less of the playoffs as they've moved forward. The world or the both championship series, I was predominantly just following on my phone. I believe I saw Friday night. I watched the first 4 innings of the Mets. Of course, that was when the Mets went up big on the Dodgers and scored all those runs to force a game 6. That was the most that I sat down and watched any of the championship series, and that was just because I was out and it was on. Yeah. I got no interest in this World Series. I hope that the Dodgers get things done. I hope that Shohei shows out, and honestly, I hope it goes quickly. Like I don't want it to drag on. I don't want there to be any confusion. I don't want there to be any like, oh shit, the Yankees are gonna like somehow accidentally pull this out. No, I need decisive, cut off the head, cut off the throat, snuff them out, everything. Like 4 games, 10 runs plus every game, no doubt. Just end it. I need LA to just do that. That's how I feel about this series.
Yeah, like I told you, pre-show, the only time I'll watch it is if it's right before the Dodgers are about to win it. I'll flip it over. Other than that, I'm just it sucks because we talked about it, the excitement going into this playoffs and how it is just it's been it's really honestly fitting for how the season has gone too.
Yeah, I keep thinking about how everything's played out. This final series, the way the playoffs went, it's just a microcosm of the season. The season was a big shit sandwich double decker, and now we get the shit anal leakage that was the playoffs on top of it, and now the shit cherry on top of this with this World Series. It's just one big shit sandwich, and I
No
don't like to
cheese.
think about it like yeah. And
Yeah,
I
no
don't
cheese.
I don't want to remember 2024 for anything other than oh yeah, I remember Shohei won the World Series that year.
I mean, we were so excited to start this show. We start the show and it went sideways right from the get go.
So maybe it's our fault. Maybe it's
I
our
think it
fault.
might be.
Maybe we started this show and this was one of the worst seasons in MLB history. I'm dubbing it that. I don't care.
I will take full credit.
If the Yankees win, it will officially go down as the worst baseball season in my lifetime. But even if they don't come up victorious, this has been just a slog of a drag of a God bless America season. I just cannot wait to turn the page on 2024.
I know. I was just thinking, like, how are we going to approach like the next couple of weeks and everything like that? And I'm like, you know what? If the Yankees win,
yeah, if the Yankees win, you might not hear from us until the winter meetings.
I was just going to say,
we're not touching it. Pitchers report.
Well,
and I will disavow all knowledge. I won't. I just won't acknowledge it. It'll just be something that happens. It'll be put into the ether, and I'll just pretend like it didn't happen.
We might talk like football or something like that. That's what we can do.
Yeah, well, it won't be anything positive about the Yankees because that's the other thing. There's never been a team that had an easier road to the World Series than I like. Allow me now to turn on on some things here. Thank you for nothing, Cleveland and Kansas City. You stood as doormats to this Yankees team. They waltzed right into the World Series. It'd have been nice if you put up some type of resistance. And I know it was cool and all to see Cleveland fight like they did, but man, just when you're looking at the records and the payroll and all that, Yankees, few have had an easier road to the World Series. I mean, you start with a bye, and then Cleveland is the toughest team that you face in between the end of the regular season and the World Series. Seems criminal. So I fully expect the much more battle-tested, which is weird to say, for the Dodgers because I don't know, but they fought in that National League division or the Western Division. You know, the Padres, we kind of ignored their little run through the beginning of the playoffs, but they had a nice little run. I got to give the Padres some credit. They did almost knock off this Dodgers team, and that's saying quite a bit. And those games were fierce. That rivalry is actually getting more interesting as time goes on. And so, you know, the Padres, I guess, are another bright spot in the playoffs. But because of, you know, teams like the Padres and the Phillies, even if they didn't have to play them, but the Mets did play much better baseball the last month and a half. Like the Dodgers have played really good teams to get where they are. So I don't think that them playing New York should be much tougher than any of the teams that they've already faced. It might even be easier. Might be the easiest matchup that they've faced. No, screw it. I'm decreeing it. It is the easiest matchup. San Diego and the Mets were better at this moment in time. I don't know about overall roster wise, but the way that those two teams are playing is better than the Yankees are playing right now.
That I completely agree with. Because I mean, if Cleveland's bullpen even remotely shows up,
yeah,
it's not. I mean, we're talking about a Cleveland Dodgers World Series, and that's like I said, that's the frustrating part about it is because as many times as, like I said, the Yankees wanted to give it away, Cleveland would take it but give it right back, and that's, you know, that's just that's what drives me nuts about it. But the good thing is coming into this World Series is you've got a Dodgers team who is, like you said, more battle tested, has home field advantage, which is, you know, key. Is it going to be a good World Series? Probably, because of the talent that's out there. But again, I think I'm in a complete agreement with you on this one, Scott, that this Yankees team might be the easiest team that, you know, the Dodgers have faced so far in this playoffs. Because, I mean, you could see that it took a lot out of them after the Padres series That was an emotionally charged series. Padres were not even remotely giving that up, and they had to fight like all hell just to get past them. And then you got to face a Mets team that they got hot at the right time, and they made it difficult. It wasn't easy for them either. So it's
Rex wants to know, was it the inexperienced manager or the young roster of Cleveland? I'm going to say it's a combination of both, but
yeah,
it's a combination of both when you factor in the attrition of 162, because their bullpen just got exhausted. I mean,
yes,
I think it pitched the most innings of any team in baseball, and it was really, really good, but it ran out of gas in the back third of the season. I mean, you saw that when they kind of struggled there down the stretch, and then it continued in the playoffs. And I mean, in the playoffs, they relied heavily on it, and it seemed like they got their mojo back. But again, they just had to throw too many innings. And then the fact that they struggle to score runs, and every run that they get, it seems like it takes a monumental effort. Like, that takes a toll on teams throughout the playoffs. Like,
yeah,
it taking and them having to exert so much effort just to score a run. So it just kind of caught up with them. I mean, I don't think that they were overmatched by the moment, or that the
no.
Yankees were that much better than them or anything. They just ran out of gas.
I think I do think the young roster, I think, does play more, I think, into it.
And that too.
Because I think a veteran roster and a veteran team, I don't think gives up the games like Cleveland did. You see what I'm saying? Like, they
had a couple of fielding gaffes and just like mental mistakes thrown in there. So yeah, I mean, I can see it.
But I mean, overall, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm with you. It's a combination of both on it. And again, when you don't have the bullpen at this time of the year, you make it very, very difficult. And that's unfortunately what Cleveland ran into.
Yeah. But again, Cleveland has a chance. It's like
this episode sucks. I mean, this is ugh.
It's like the medicine that you have to take, because again, it's the championship series. It's the coup de grace, this whole thing, and I don't care about the outcome, but it has to be discussed. I guess it can't be completely ignored. Again, if it was two New York teams, yes, under those circumstances, it could absolutely be completely ignored. This wouldn't be happening. In fact, it would just be, it really would be just, we'll see you at spring training. But I feel like it needed to be acknowledged that this series was happening.
Yeah.
The World Series is being played and it was not canceled. And that hopefully Shohei can will himself to 4 more victories, and then he can win none for the rest of his career, as long as he's playing for the Dodgers, as far as I'm concerned. That'd be great.
Yeah. As long as he gets his one, there you go.
Well, yes. Now he's got no choice but to get this one. Shohei, you fucked this up, and we're gonna have words, man. Like, you're the only thing in between New York and getting another ring, and having to hear from those morons about how many more another one thrown onto the pile. So get it done, Shohei. Get it done.
You have one job. One job.
Was there anything else that we needed to? Nothing else has happened, right? Baseball's been like super quiet outside of
this shit show
series. Yeah.
I mean, like I told you, my wife was like, "Well, you don't have to do the show," and I was like, "Well, we kind of have to. Like, we can't just not." I mean,
yeah, I mean, we had really good reasons for skipping some of the other ones. We're just like, all right, kind of dulled, but
we either had something going on, or there was really nothing going on.
Right. This one set the stage for the World Series. Like, it's the only chance that we had to like actually acknowledge its existence. Otherwise, the next time we do a show, it could be over. So there's that. It would have been from like, we went from having a show early in the playoffs to it was done by the time they had another one. So, just to keep up appearances.
So the schedule is as follows. Game 1 is Friday night at 8:08 Eastern time in LA. Game 2, Saturday night, 8:08. Game 3 shifts back Monday night in New York.
Oh, so I guess the series wouldn't have been over.
No, it
Which,
would've been
by the
game-
way, can we talk about why are they taking so much damn time off in between these series? Like, why isn't this series starting tomorrow? Why is
You
it
gotta
being
give-
delayed till
You
Friday?
got to give the Yankees a chance to fly across the country. You got to
Uh,
coddle them.
Yeah, I don't know about all
Tough shit.
that.
Like, you've never heard of a West Coast road trip where you leave,
Yeah.
the day of and fly out, and you come on, like, who cares? Yeah. So you've got Monday and Tuesday are games 3 and 4 in the Bronx. Game 5, if necessary, in the Bronx on Wednesday, the 30th, and we skip Halloween, and then games 6 and 7 are back out in LA on Friday the 1st and Saturday the 2nd. So hopefully it doesn't go to game 7. Hopefully this is just an absolute shit kicking right from the get-go, and it's done on Tuesday night. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, so the night after we do a show.
Oh God, yeah. That's
Well, and
true.
I can tell, actually, to be honest with you, no lie, we're not going to have a show next week because there's not going to be anything to discuss other than the first 2 games, and it'll be the start of the 3rd.
Yeah.
So there will be no show next week, and then hopefully the following week
We'll have
the
one.
Yeah, we'll have
actually
one.
talk.
A celebratory. We can put a capper on the season and have a celebratory. The Dodgers won the World Series and the Yankees didn't episode. But yeah, there's no point in doing one next week because I'm not breaking down games 1 and 2 no matter what happens.
Especially because we're not going to watch them.
It's gonna make it real hard to break them down. Yeah. I don't watch them.
Chris, what were your thoughts? I have no idea. I didn't watch it. Scott, what were yours? I don't know. We didn't watch it either.
Well, I mean, you know what that means? That's where we're gonna leave it.
Prediction.
No, you're good. You're good.
What's your prediction? Like, you got
my prediction? Oh, no, prediction. The Yankees lose in 4. We go Dodgers. Yeah.
Like a realistic
okay,
prediction?
if I'm just realistic prediction,
I know what you hope. You would hope it ends in 1.
I would say Dodgers win in 5. That's actually my realistic prediction.
I was going Dodgers in 6. Okay. Cool.
Well, there you go. I guess I should do a prediction. I don't really want to, but
who cares? At this point, it's at least something we can hang on to.
Yeah, gold jacket, green jacket. Who gives a shit? That is the perfect spot to leave it. Thank you for joining us for this begrudging episode of Backwards Gay Baseball. We did it. The World Series is happening, but we don't like it. Thank you guys for joining us. You can find us where you find all of your podcasts: Facebook, Twitter, Impact Sports Cincinnati, and of course, the Craft Brewed Podcasting Sports Network. We're here every Monday night-ish during the season. I don't know. We're not here next Monday because the series will still be going on. But we'll wrap up the series, the season, and everything in 2 weeks. We hope to see you guys then. Appreciate your support. Have a good one and enjoy the World Series? ?